Hey guys, make sure to follow my Instagram, Ray_Sunshine. I've been really into it lately and I want you guys to keep up with the fan bam. Hey guys, it's Rachel. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm here to share my labor and delivery story with you guys. Now this one was a little more traumatizing than Troy, and if you haven't seen that video, I'll leave the link down below. But for his entire, birthing process, I did almost pass away, and this time around I actually did pass away for a brief amount of time. So it was very traumatizing, but I'm happy to be alive. I'm in a really good mood today. I'm gonna put the video on both channels, that way everybody can see it and nobody's questioning like, where's the video? So yes, both kids are sleeping right now. It's the miracle, so I figured let me go ahead and hurry up and film this. So I look a little jacked up. I mean, I literally just had a baby. I got out of the hospital yesterday, you guys, and you will be seeing this. If not today, then tomorrow. And today is Wednesday, so okay, let's go ahead and share the story. I'm speaking too much. This all starts out, I want to say, towards the end of my pregnancy, 39 weeks. They found protein in my urine. And for the first pregnancy, I did develop preeclampsia, which led to me getting a C-section. This time around, I developed it again. However, it was a little more mild. So they found protein in my urine, and my blood pressure was going up. So my midwife ordered me to get the preeclampsia test done, where I had it, but like I said, very mild. Friday, I got the phone call that I was going to get induced and the induction would start Saturday morning. However, because of my anxiety and because of the fact that, I had a history with, near death and all that for the first pregnancy and labor, they wanted me to stay in the hospital a day early, which they never ever do. So they made an exception for me. So Friday, I checked myself into the hospital. I got admitted. Everything was fine. And that night, coincidentally, I just happened to go into labor naturally. I was really excited about it because I was like, oh my gosh, what are the odds that, I'm going into labor on my own? So I started having contractions and I want to say around like 11-ish, and I didn't tell anybody. I didn't tell the nurses. I kind of just took the pain like a champ because I didn't want them to put the baby monitors on me. I feel like that makes the contractions worse. However, around like 4 a.m. I felt like I couldn't take it anymore. Like I could not take the contractions anymore. So I ended up telling the nurse, like, listen, I'm having really excruciating contractions. They're nonstop, like, help me out. So she checks me. She's like, do you want an epidural right now? Which I was surprised that she even offered it to me. And I said, let me stick it out like a champ again. I don't want the epidural. I'm just gonna keep going on with my life. So fine. An hour goes by and I start throwing up. I start having diarrhea. So I threw up and had diarrhea in a time span of like a minute. And I know, because I've done a lot of research, that means labor is coming near. Plus I was having like back-to-back contractions and they were excruciating. So I ended up telling my nurse at the time. The nurse comes in, she checks me, she gets super worried. I can see it in her face. She calls all the other nurses, like the charge nurse, and about 8 nurses come in and they're like, she's having tetanic contractions. Now, if you don't know what tetanic contractions is, because it is really rare, which of course I get it, it's when you have non-stop contractions, they just don't end. And the way labor works is like, you have contractions, you're dilating so the baby can move down. However, my body wasn't giving the baby a chance to like breathe really, because the contractions weren't ending. So I was having contractions every 5 minutes, but for 5 minutes, if that makes sense. I was having contractions for 5 minutes, literally every 5 minutes. So I had it non-stop. Baby stopped moving and they made the call. The nurses made the call to have a C-section. They ran me over to the room. The doctors was there, thank God. And they got the baby out because essentially she was on the verge of dying, considering she stopped moving. And it was because my body didn't have time to like give her a chance to breathe. She was in a lot of stress because of the non-stop contractions. Also, I meant to add as well, the emergency C-section. Okay, so now let's get into that part. So they made the call to get the emergency C-section. I'm getting the emergency C-section. There was no time for me to get epidural. There was no time for anything. They ripped open my gown with a knife. I remember that vividly. Ripped open my gown. They gave me anesthesia instead of epidural because, like I said, everything was really quick and she was already like on the verge of dead, if not already, like for a brief time. And then I remember them throwing a bucket of whatever they'd throw on you on my belly. And I remember they're like, okay, where's the scissors, where's the knife, blah, 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 blah. We don't have time to get glue. We're gonna do staples. Like, I was awake for all of this. They didn't have time to do a countdown. They didn't have time for me to sign paperwork or ask me any questions. It was literally like super emergency, really quick. Get her out, get the baby out. Okay, so they got the baby out of me, right? I woke up. I didn't even realize that like the baby was out. I mean, keep in mind, I'm so like high, I'm loopy, don't really know what's going on. But apparently from what I was told, my blood pressure skyrocketed after I had the C-section. And that's because I had mild preeclampsia, which turned into severe preeclampsia. Don't know how that happened, but like I said, this is my life, right? So, my blood pressure went up right after, super high, verge of stroke, verge of seizure. So I was given medication to bring my blood pressure down. The medication brought it down to where I did pass. They said pass away. My heart rate stopped, everything, it just stopped. Like I wasn't breathing, everything, it was just like me, like it just, everything stopped. So they were doing everything they can to revive me, bring me back to life. They did. And then after they did that, I started hemorrhaging. Okay, so as I was hemorrhaging, I remember the doctor pushing my belly down, like pushing my belly to try to like make sure all the blood was out. And I remember like screaming in pain because I mean I just got out of surgery and it was just a nightmare. I ended up hemorrhaging twice, getting 2 blood transfusions, and then after all of that was done, I was finally taken to the recovery room and I was okay. I was on high seizure medication. I was on blood pressure medication. I still am on blood pressure medication. Let me just add that because I ended up developing preeclampsia after I gave birth. I don't really know how that works, but I had it mild and now I have it like kind of on a severe spectrum. So they actually didn't want to release me from the hospital. I was supposed to be released tomorrow or today, but I kind of fought to leave early because I was ready to come home. I was there for almost a week. So yeah, I am on a lot of heavy medication, which is, you know, unfortunate, but you know, I'm alive, right? So they had the baby out of me. I know I'm kind of going everywhere, but the baby was out and she had low sugar. Yeah, low sugar. So she ended up not staying with me like the first 2 nights because obviously my situation. The first day when I had her, I didn't even see her until like nighttime, and that's because I fought and begged. But I was so, you know, high and, you know, I was on a lot of medication and I didn't really know what was going on. But overall, that was my story. So just like a brief little overview because I know it was kind of everywhere. I had tetanic contractions where they were non-stop. So I had to get an emergency C-section and I had my contraction stop. That way the baby could come out alive because she almost didn't make it. And then that's when everything with me happened where I, you know, had 2 hemorrhages. I had my blood pressure drop so low that I passed away. My blood pressure was then high again and then I had to get blood transfusions. So the whole thing was just a nightmare. But I'm happy that it's over. I was told that I can't have kids anymore, and that's a whole nother story. But so, I mean, considering everything that I've been through, do I even want any more kids? I do, but not like pregnancies. You know, I guess I should make that clear. I don't want to be pregnant ever again. I don't. I love pregnancy, but I cannot do it because my labors are just always the worst. But happy to be alive. You know, like I said, I almost didn't make it again, and it's unfortunate. It makes me sad, but this time around I'm a little more happier than the first time with Troy. I think it scared me. This time I was a little more mentally prepared going into it, and I knew maybe this could be the outcome, and it was. You know, my body just doesn't do well with delivery. But I'm happy again. I'm gonna say it again. I'm happy to be alive. But anyways, you guys, that was my story. Leave in the comments down below anything you want to say, questions. I'll get back to you with due time. I'm gonna go ahead and check on the kids because EJ's downstairs with both of them, and if one of them woke up, then I already know he's gonna want me. So I'll see you guys in my next video. I have a lot coming up. For those of you that's watching this on the main channel, make sure to follow the vlog channel because I have all the vlogs that show everything that I went through, and I'll be doing updates on Aria, and I'll be doing updates on my C-section and all that. So, all right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.